Right.
Nice.
That's so beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll hide behind it.
Hey, let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Good. Okay, welcome everyone. This meeting is a council committee of the whole meeting for the purpose of receiving the exterior housing evaluation survey from the Wood County Health Department. So without any further ado, you would like to walk us through this, that'd be great.
All right. Everybody hear me? All right. I'm Kendra. I work for the Wood County Health Department. Was the housing inspector for roughly 2 years or so. Gassan now is. So I conducted the 2021 exterior housing survey last year, spring into the winter. And today I'm just going to present the results. So as you're all probably aware, the city is divided into 4 neighborhoods, the 4 wards. That's how we inspected each individual. We inspected each individual ward, pulled the data that way. Each house is surveyed based on the 14 primary categories and 10 non-primary categories, which I'll go over here shortly. And then out in the field, I entered all of that into an Excel spreadsheet. We took it back to the office and then we entered it into our database. So primary categories include roofs, chimneys, siding condition, porches, stairs and railings, doors, windows, accessory structures, foundations, soffits and roof edges, off-street parking, private walks, public walks, and exterior sanitation. In general, what we're looking for when we inspect or do a housing survey, we're just looking for general repair of the different categories, exterior sanitation, obviously, if the yard's cleaned up or not. Then we also have the non-primary categories. There's 10 of those, including paint, gutters, and downspouts, whether or not the house has an attached garage and the garage condition. Whether or not it's attached or not, grading and drainage of the yard, dumpsters if applicable, yard maintenance, starlings and pigeons, siding type, and then also whether or not the address is present or posted. And that would be either on the house or on the mailbox. So for our results, any homes that are substandard in 2 or 3 of the primary categories, they're classified as deficient. Any homes that are substandard in 4 or more, we classify them as neglected. So for this past year's results, we had a total of 5,875 homes that were inspected. Total primary deficiencies totaled up to 366. Deficient homes, there was 129. Neglected homes, there was actually, it says 5, but we had 1 input incorrectly that I came across afterward. So there was 4. Homes with 0 deficiencies totaled 5,290. So comparatively, from our last exterior housing survey in 2016, the total primary deficiencies decreased from 795 to 366, which was an overall decrease of 53.96%. The number of properties with primary deficiencies decreased from 627 to 307, which was a decrease of 51.03%. Properties with zero deficiencies increased from 4,919 to 5,570, which was an increase of 13.23%. And the total homes surveyed increased from 5,546 to 5,875, which was an increase of 5.93%. In addition, the total deficient homes decreased from 130 to 129, which was a decrease by 0.7%. And the neglected homes decreased from 7 to 5, which was a 28.6% decrease. So then we, like I said, take the results and we compile them into charts and graphs and tables and all that good stuff. So here, let me see if I can read it here. You'll see across the bottom there, there's the total deficiencies. This is broken down by the different wards. So like I said, Ward 1, we had a total, our total deficiencies was 94 out of 476 homes. In Ward 2, we had 143 deficiencies out of 1,005 homes. In Ward 3, it looks like we had 58 deficiencies out of 1,621 homes. And then in Ward 4, we had 71 deficiencies out of 2,771 homes, which brought our grand total up to 366 deficiencies out of 5,875 total homes. Our 7 highest areas of deficiency included exterior sanitation, accessory structures, soffits, siding condition, chimneys, public walks, and porches. As you can see with the pie chart and the table there. Then I did a report for the number of houses with deficiencies. The total number of houses with only one deficiency was 451. With 2 deficiencies was 104. 3 deficiencies was 25. 4 deficiencies was 4. And 5 deficiencies was 1. And then, of course, like I said, the one house that I had come across after the fact, that would have actually gotten moved into, I believe it was only 1 deficiency at that point. So it would have gotten moved from 4 deficiencies to only 1. So.
Could I interrupt just for a second?
Sure.
The one neglected home that we removed, what ward was that one?
That would have been in Ward 1.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. And then I put in another table for the deficient and neglected homes by ward. Total number of homes that were deficient by neighborhood in Ward 1 was 29, which was 6.7%, 0.07% of the total number of houses in that ward. Ward 2 was 46, which was 4.58%. Ward 3 was 17, which was 1.05%. And Ward 4 was 37, which was 1.33%. For a grand total of 129 at 200 or 2.2% for the total. Neglected homes, it would have been, like I said, adjusting for the 1, there would only be 2 in Ward 1, 0 in Ward 2, 1 in Ward 3, and 1 in Ward 4 for a grand total of actually 4. Then we have a bar graph just to compare deficient and neglected homes, as you can see. Then we did a report. We run the houses deficient in non-primary categories. Our total deficiencies are going across based on wards. In Ward 1, there was a total of 100 out of 478. Ward 2, there was 116 out of 1,005. Ward 3, there was only 82 out of 1,621. And Ward 4, there was 116 out of 2,771. That gave us a grand total of 414 out of our total homes of 5,875. And for our highest areas of deficiency for the non-primary categories, it was paint, garage condition, gutters, and whether or not their address was posted. Then we run the historical comparison of the surveys. So we have all the way back to 1988 in this first chart. And it just breaks down the 14 primary categories, and then it also includes gutters and downspouts on this chart as well. If we go ahead and go to the next slide, that's where we really break down the comparison though. Compared to 2016, like I said, we had a decrease of 1 in terms of deficient homes and a decrease in 3 for the neglected homes. And then we have a line chart there showing the comparison there. Any questions?
Well, the way you're tracking this, you remove the one neglected home in Ward 1, does that mean there's actually one more deficient? Or is that?
No. So when I went back and looked at it, it would have only had 1 deficiency. So it wouldn't have even fallen into the deficient category per the.
And then the reason,
definition.
I was just curious, you track the category of starlings and pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because across the county there's an issue? Because you're showing no deficiencies anywhere
Yeah.
in Bowling Green. So just curious as to why it's a concern.
It's in our database. As far as I'm aware, it's been something that we've tracked since
But it
the
apparently hadn't been
beginning.
an issue here.
No, not as far as I'm aware.
What is the issue? Did they nest on the house?
We were supposed to track whether or not we saw any even in the yard. So I had not.
Could you please come to the microphone? Because
Yeah.
yes, please, yes. Thank you.
I'm Lana. I'm the environmental health director. So these categories were mutually agreed upon over the years in our relationship between the health department and the city of Bowling Green. So anytime we see need for updates on these, now we have another 5 years to talk about this and potentially look at things that might be of more concern at this point, whether it be for property value or public health concern. But yeah, that's kind of the background. And this report does have a pretty nice little history of our ongoing relationship that goes with the PowerPoint. But yeah, and at one time, of course, we were tracking birds for West Nile. So.
Can I ask a question? Forgive my ignorance for this, but like, so this data, what is it historically used for?
So right now, from the health department's perspective, that determines where we start with our mini surveys. So like, for example, Gassan will start with his mini survey starting in Ward 2 this year, since that was the most deficient ward per the housing survey. And then we also are able to offer enforcement, whether that be through our department, the city, the police department now, that kind of thing.
So you would like go through and fine people for these deficiencies?
Potentially. We do start off with a notice of violation process that we go through up to 3 letters and then potentially forward to the prosecutor for.
Does the county offer, like, what if someone can't afford to fix it?
That would be something that they would have to negotiate with the prosecutor, correct? I haven't.
So are you talking about affording the problems maybe with the house, or more that when the legal issues, the legal?
The actual problem to fix the
Yeah.
home, the
Yeah,
exterior
so-
of the home.
So we work with various agencies to try to help them find. We're an enforcement agency, so but there are resources out there for folks through CHIP grants, through Adult Protective Services if they qualify, that type of thing. So we do, I mean, when you're out there and when you actually, for this exterior survey, I mean, you're looking at all these houses, so there's not a lot of one-on-one contact. But once, you know, there's how many notices were sent to folks based on our contractual agreement for this survey.
We will have one being out, but that.
Right. So this survey is really just a contractual thing, and it's all about property maintenance within Bowling Green. That years ago, they came to us and said, you know, can you assist with this exterior survey? So the rest of the year, when we're doing these mini surveys, we're sending out probably more notices of violation, where this is truly what it is called. It's a survey where we're going, looking at each and every house in Bowling Green every 5 years. So there's not a lot of one-on-one. You know, there's on occasion the folks that see and kind of talk to you and ask what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, we always, we kind of take pride in recognizing situations for what they are, based on what we're seeing, and we do try to find assistance. You know, we do have social services within our health center as well, but we try to direct them in the right way if that tends to what we're seeing or hearing from. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for answering that question. I asked just because, I mean, so I'm the Ward 1 representative. It looks like percentage wise that though it might not be the greatest number, the greatest percentage is definitely coming from Ward 1. And I'm just wondering if that's more of an issue of individuals can't afford to fix up their houses, or what the actual problem is there. So I guess that's just more research that I have to do on my end, but I appreciate you all presenting this information as is.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I address.
City's got
Thank you.
funds. I mean, we got brand new programs we just learned about.
So to answer Nick's question, we will get the addresses of these properties. And if they're property owners and they fit our programs, then yes, they're on Matt's radar to reach out to them to see if we can assist them.
That's fantastic. Thank you
Okay.
so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean, I was
If they
just trying.
qualify, right?
If they qualify, right.
Yeah,
Could
But
just be negligent.
right. Of course.
And they have to be homeowners, not rental properties really
Right.
for us. But
Well,
we do have those options available.
yeah.
And we do make use of them.
And I understand that. And if it's someone who has the means to fix up their property and they're not doing it, by all means, I think that they should be, fined, if not warned, and then fined. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
lot
you.
of good information. I look forward to pouring through it. And unless anyone has anything else, we will adjourn the committee of the whole meeting and get ready for the regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I've got legislation.
I was kind of wondering why they were starting for 2, since clearly the greatest percentage. I mean, it's not the biggest number, but it's the biggest percentage. And the most